Hey everyone, so I want to share something with you that completely changed how I think about staying healthy and maintaining a good body without ever stepping foot in a gym. Now, before you roll your eyes and think this is just another clickbait wellness video, hear me out. I recently spent some time really diving into Japanese lifestyle habits, and honestly, it blew my mind how different their approach is from everything we've been taught in the West. And here's the crazy part. Japan has an obesity rate of only around 4%. 4%. Compare that to over 30% in places like the United States, and you start wondering what they know that we don't. The best part, it's not about starving yourself, counting every single calorie, or spending 2 hours a day doing burpees until you want to cry. It's actually way simpler than that and way more sustainable. So today I'm breaking down 7 Japanese habits that keep people naturally slim throughout their entire lives. And I promise you, none of them involve a gym membership. Let's get into it. Alright, habit number 1. And this one is probably the most well-known, but also the most misunderstood. And it's called Hara Hachi Bu. Now, if you've never heard this term before, it literally translates to eat until you're 80% full. That's it. You're not stuffing yourself until you need to unbutton your pants. You're not eating until you feel like you need a nap. You're stopping right before you get to that point. And I know what you're thinking. How do you even know when you're 80% full? Well, that's where the magic happens. This practice actually forces you to slow down and pay attention to your body's signals. See, in Western culture, we've been conditioned to clean our plates, right? Finish everything in front of you because there are starving children somewhere, or because you paid for it, or because waste is bad. And I get that logic, I really do, but it completely disconnects us from our natural hunger cues. When you practice Hara Hachi Bu, you're retraining your brain to recognize satisfaction versus fullness. And here's the thing, it takes about 20 minutes for your brain to register that you're actually full. So if you're shoveling food down in 10 minutes, you're going to overshoot that signal every single time. The Japanese have mastered this art of eating slowly, mindfully, and stopping just before they feel completely stuffed. And this isn't some new fad diet. This practice comes from Okinawa, one of the famous blue zones where people live longer than almost anywhere else on Earth. They've been doing this for generations. The beautiful part about this habit is that you're not restricting what you eat. You're just being more aware of how much you need. There's no guilt, no shame, no labeling foods as good or bad. You can have rice, you can have dessert, you can enjoy your meals. You're just not overdoing it. And that right there is a game changer because it's sustainable. You're not going to burn out on this approach because it doesn't feel like deprivation. Now let's talk about habit number 2. And this one surprised me when I first learned about it. It's the way Japanese meals are structured, and it follows this principle called Ichi Rusan Sai, which means 1 soup and 3 sides. So instead of having one giant main dish, like a massive plate of pasta or a huge steak with a baked potato, Japanese meals are typically composed of smaller portions of different dishes. You'll have a bowl of soup, usually miso, a serving of rice, and then 3 small side dishes that might include vegetables, fish, pickles, tofu. The variety is key here. When you eat a diverse range of foods in smaller amounts, you're getting way more nutrients, you're keeping your palate interested, and you're naturally controlling your portions without even thinking about it. Think about it. When you have a giant plate of one thing, it's so easy to just keep eating mindlessly, especially if it's something delicious. But when you have multiple small dishes in front of you, you're more engaged with your meal. You're tasting different flavors, different textures. You're switching between dishes, and that process keeps you present. Plus, research shows that variety in your diet is linked to better overall health and a lower risk of chronic disease. The Japanese have figured out that you don't need huge portions to feel satisfied, you just need balance and variety. And here's another cool thing about this approach. When you're eating smaller portions of multiple dishes, you're less likely to overeat any single type of food. So even if one of those dishes is something higher in calories or fat, you're not consuming a massive amount of it. Everything is in moderation, and it all balances out. This is the opposite of the Western supersized mentality, where more is always better. In Japan, less is more, and the results speak for themselves. Habit number 3, and this is one that completely changed my own daily routine: walking everywhere. Now, I'm not talking about going for a planned walk or scheduling time to hit your 10,000 steps. I'm talking about building movement into your everyday life, so naturally that it doesn't even feel like exercise. In Japan, people walk to the train station. They walk from the train station to work. They walk to the grocery store. They walk to meet friends. They walk because that's just how life works. Public transportation is so efficient and widespread that most people don't rely on cars the way we do in many Western countries. And all that incidental walking adds up in a massive way. Studies show that people in Japan average around 6,000 to 8,000 steps per day just from their normal daily activities. They're not tracking it obsessively or stressing about hitting a goal. They're just moving because their environment makes it easy and necessary. Compare that to a car-dependent lifestyle where you drive to work, sit all day, drive home, and sit some more, and you can see why this makes such a difference. Walking isn't just good for burning calories, though that's obviously a bonus. It's also incredible for your cardiovascular health, your mental health, your digestion, and your overall energy levels. And because it's low impact, it's something you can do every single day for your entire life without wrecking your joints or burning out. The Japanese don't view walking as this separate thing they have to force themselves to do. It's just woven into the fabric of their daily existence. And that's the key. When movement is integrated into your life, instead of being this extra task you have to check off a list, it becomes effortless. You're not dragging yourself to the gym after a long day. You're just living your life and moving your body in the process. Let's move on to habit number 4. And this one is something you've probably heard about but maybe never really understood the significance of. And that's green tea. In Japan, green tea isn't just a drink. It's a ritual. It's something people consume throughout the day, often multiple times a day, and it's deeply embedded in the culture. Now, you might be thinking, okay, it's just tea. How much of a difference can it really make? Well, actually quite a bit. Green tea is loaded with antioxidants, specifically catechins, which have been shown to boost metabolism and promote fat burning. There's a compound in green tea called EGCG that's particularly powerful for this. It helps increase the rate at which your body burns calories and can even help your body use fat for energy more efficiently. But beyond the metabolic benefits, green tea also provides a gentle source of caffeine, so you get a nice energy boost without the jitters or the crash that comes from coffee. It's energizing but calming at the same time, which is kind of the perfect combination. Plus, drinking green tea is a way to hydrate throughout the day without consuming sugary drinks or empty calories. Think about how many calories people consume just from beverages alone: sodas, lattes, sweetened iced teas, fruit juices. In Japan, green tea is the default, and it's a zero-calorie option that actually supports your health rather than detracting from it. And here's the other thing. The ritual of making and drinking tea encourages you to slow down and take a moment for yourself. It's mindful, it's calming, and it creates little pockets of pause throughout your day. In our rushed, stressed-out Western culture, we could all benefit from more of those moments. So if you want to adopt this habit, start by swapping out one of your daily beverages for green tea. You don't have to go all in immediately, but even 1 cup a day can start to make a difference, both physically and mentally. Habit number 5. And this one might sound almost too simple, but trust me, it matters. Eating with chopsticks. Now, I'm not saying you need to become a chopstick master overnight, but hear me out on this one. When you eat with chopsticks, especially if you're not super skilled with them, you naturally eat slower. You can only pick up smaller amounts of food at a time. You have to be more deliberate with each bite, and the whole process just takes longer. And remember what I said earlier about it taking 20 minutes for your brain to catch up with your stomach? Well, eating slower gives your body time to send those satiety signals before you've eaten way more than you needed to. It's a built-in portion control mechanism. In contrast, when you're eating with a fork and knife, or worse, just shoveling food in with your hands or a spoon, it's so easy to mindlessly consume massive amounts of food in a very short period of time. You're not giving your body a chance to tell you it's had enough. Using chopsticks forces a more mindful eating pace. You're paying attention to what you're putting in your mouth. You're chewing more thoroughly, and you're actually tasting your food instead of just inhaling it. And this isn't just about slowing down for the sake of slowing down. There's real science behind this. Studies have shown that eating more slowly leads to consuming fewer calories overall and feeling more satisfied with less food. Your body has time to register fullness, and you end up eating exactly what you need instead of way more than you need. So if you're looking for a super simple way to change your eating habits without changing what you eat, try using chopsticks more often. Even if it feels awkward at first, stick with it. You might be surprised at how much it changes your relationship with food. Alright, habit number 6. And this one is all about how food is presented and served. In Japanese culture, meals are eaten on smaller plates and bowls, and there's a huge emphasis on aesthetics and presentation. Every meal looks like a piece of art. Colors are balanced. Portions are carefully arranged. And there's this real sense of intention and care put into how food is served. Now, you might think this is just about making things look pretty. And sure, that's part of it. But there's actually a psychological component here that's really powerful. When you serve food on smaller plates, it tricks your brain into thinking you're eating more than you actually are. It's called the Del-Buff illusion, and it's been studied pretty extensively. The same portion of food looks much larger on a small plate than it does on a big plate, and your brain responds to that visual cue. You feel more satisfied because your eyes are telling you you've eaten a full plate of food, even though the actual amount is smaller. In Western culture, we tend to use massive dinner plates, and then we fill them up because we feel like we should. But when you switch to smaller plates and bowls, you naturally serve yourself less, and you feel just as satisfied. Plus, when food is beautifully presented, you slow down and appreciate it more. You're not just mindlessly eating, you're experiencing the meal. You notice the colors, the textures, the arrangement, and that brings you back to that mindful eating we keep talking about. The Japanese take pride in their food, not just in the taste, but in the entire experience of eating. And that respect for food translates into eating less, because you're savoring it rather than just consuming it. So here's a super easy takeaway from this habit. Start using smaller plates at home. Serve your meals in a way that feels special, even if it's just a regular Tuesday dinner. Take an extra 30 seconds to make it look nice. You'll eat less, enjoy it more, and feel more satisfied. It's a total win. And finally, habit number 7, and this one ties everything together: mindful living and stress management. Now, this isn't a single action like eating with chopsticks or drinking green tea. It's more of an overall philosophy that influences every other habit we've talked about. In Japanese culture, there's a deep emphasis on mindfulness, presence, and managing stress in healthy ways. Practices like meditation, spending time in nature, taking baths, even something as simple as sitting quietly with a cup of tea, these are all built into daily life. And here's why this matters so much for staying slim and healthy. Stress is one of the biggest contributors to weight gain and poor health. When you're stressed, your body produces cortisol, which increases appetite, causes cravings for unhealthy foods, and leads to fat storage, especially around your midsection. Chronic stress also disrupts sleep, messes with your hormones, and makes it way harder to stick to healthy habits. The Japanese have figured out that taking care of your mental and emotional health is just as important, if not more important, than any diet or exercise plan. When you're calm, centered, and present, you make better choices. You're less likely to stress eat, less likely to reach for junk food, and more likely to listen to what your body actually needs. Mindfulness also plays into every single habit we've discussed. Eating until you're 80% full requires mindfulness. Eating slowly with chopsticks requires mindfulness. Appreciating the presentation of your food requires mindfulness. Walking through your day without being glued to your phone requires mindfulness. It all comes back to this idea of being present and intentional with your actions, instead of just going through the motions on autopilot. So if there's one overarching lesson to take from Japanese culture, it's this: slow down. Be present. Take care of your mind and your body will follow. Find ways to reduce stress in your life, whether that's through meditation, spending time outside, taking a bath, practicing gratitude, whatever works for you. Because when you're at peace with yourself, staying healthy becomes so much easier. It's not a struggle, it's just how you live. So, there you have it. 7 Japanese habits that keep people naturally slim for life without ever needing a gym membership or a restrictive diet. Let's do a quick recap. Number 1, Hara Hachi Bu, eat until you're 80% full. Number 2, structure your meals with variety and balance, 1 soup and 3 sides. Number 3, walk everywhere and build movement into your daily life. Number 4, drink green tea regularly for metabolism and mindfulness. Number 5, eat with chopsticks to slow down and eat less. Number 6, use smaller plates and focus on beautiful presentation. And number 7, practice mindful living and prioritize stress management. None of these habits are extreme, none of them require you to give up foods you love, and none of them are unsustainable. That's the beauty of the Japanese approach. It's not about quick fixes or dramatic transformations. It's about small, consistent habits that add up over time. And the result is a lifetime of health, not just a few months of suffering followed by a rebound. If you take nothing else from this video, just remember this: you don't need to punish your body to be healthy. You don't need to spend hours in the gym or eat nothing but salad. You just need to be a little more mindful, a little more intentional, and a little more kind to yourself. Adopt 1 or 2 of these habits, see how they feel, and build from there. You might be amazed at how much changes when you stop fighting your body and start working with it instead. All right, that's it for today. If you found this helpful, give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment, and let me know which of these habits you're going to try first. And subscribe if you want more content like this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.